Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. This is a live stream, so if you're watching after the fact, be sure to check the description or the pinned comment so you can jump ahead to the main content. In the meantime, we're going to hang out in the waiting room, so I'll see you soon. Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. Welcome to our Friday stream, where we're working on Listed, which is a SvelteKit app that allows users to create, share, and watch lists of YouTube channels. So let's get into it. And thank you, Sir Subeko, for the what was it, the 24-month resub over on Twitch. I appreciate that. Yeah, welcome in, McManus. Glad to see you here. But let's talk about what Listed is if you haven't heard of it. And you can see that we have a new homepage, some new homepage styles that we worked on last time. But essentially, this is these are the lists that I have created. So for instance, if we look at, I don't know, this list, it's called the Coding Garden Universe list. You can see it spins for a second. It's actually going out to the YouTube API and getting all of the metadata for all of the videos for the channels that are in this list. And so this list has my main Coding Garden channel and then also the Coding Garden archive. But then you get a feed of videos from only those two channels. Like this video is a live stream on the archive channel, and then these videos are from the main channel, and these videos are from the archive channel. So you can take any number of YouTube channels, put them in a list, and then you get a feed like this. That's basically it. And then for any given video, you can embed it, you can play it, and it has all the metadata and stuff like that. So, for example, you could have a list called JavaScript channels, and it could include all these channels. You'll also notice how fast that loaded. It actually puts it into a Redis database to cache all of the metadata about the videos, and then now we get a feed that only has these channels listed on it. But it doesn't have to be dev content. It could also be things like cooking. So this has Babish Culinary Universe, Maddie Matheson, Claire Saffitz, You Suck at Cooking, Bon Appetit, Internet Shaquille, Munchies. There's a bunch of other cooking YouTube channels that I like to watch as well. You'll notice this is taking longer because some of those channels probably have a whole lot of videos, and it's caching all of the metadata. But what's nice is once it's cached, it stays there for 24 hours. So if we come back to this page after it's cached, it'll load pretty fast. We will eventually do something like dynamically load the data. So right now, if I go all the way down to the bottom of the page, this literally has videos from 8 years ago on Munchies. This is every video from every one of those channels in the list. So it's a lot, which is why it took so long to load. Eventually, we can optimize this where as it gets data back from the API, it goes ahead and starts putting that onto the page. And then also we talked about you could potentially have like a little mini game for people to play while it's loading data. Yeah, and then right now filtering happens completely on the client side. So because we've loaded the metadata for all of these videos onto the client side, now if I search for cheese, that is just a client side filter of all of the metadata. And it's not a fuzzy search, but it is looking at all the metadata. It's looking at the description, the title. I guess that's really all you can look at, but that's what it's looking at to try and match against. So there's that, yeah. And then the other thing is there might be creators that have a lot of different channels. So for example, we have this list called the GMM Universe because I like to watch Good Mythical Morning. But this has Good Mythical Morning, Good Mythical More, The Mythical Kitchen, the Rhett and Link channel, their podcast channels, and then it loads it all into a single feed here. Yeah. I'm doing YouTube only streams for a lot of reasons, but the short version of it is there's more discoverability on YouTube, and I don't lose the view count on the live streams because when I go live on Twitch for any given live stream, or I mean any live stream that I do, even though my average viewer count isn't in the thousands, I actually get thousands of unique views because people come in and out of the live stream. So if I stream on Twitch and let's say 2,000 unique people watch, after the live stream is over, that number of unique viewers is completely gone from the analytics. So if I were to take that VOD and upload it to YouTube, now it has to start at 0. But if I live stream directly to YouTube, the view count during the live stream sticks around, and so that helps with the algorithm in terms of like recommending the live stream. But here we go. This has all of those channels in this feed now, and this one's pretty impressive because the Rhett and Link channel has been around for a really long time. So you can see it has videos from like 17 years ago at the bottom of the list. But what I'll show you is because of that caching, if I go back to cooking channels, it will load instantly. Like it didn't have to go and get all that metadata. It pulled that from the Redis cache so that it loads fairly quickly. And so that's basically the app. Like you have the ability to create a list. You can add channels to the list. When you search for channels, this hits the YouTube API, and then you can choose Code Garden with 5 subscribers. You choose the channels, create the list, good to go from there. Today we're gonna work on features. We're probably gonna work on styles too. Yeah. Well, yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Let me be clear. like American 2050 is saying, if you look at that live stream on Twitch, it will have the view count, but that view count is only on Twitch, and Twitch does not recommend videos like YouTube does, right? So that's really what I'm getting at. Is I lose that count, I re-upload to either the archive or the main channel. It has to start at 0. And build from there. And so I lost that on YouTube. Yeah. That's basically what I'm saying is I'm consolidating my audience into a single spot. And what's up, Bytherial? Welcome in. So yeah, this is the app. I actually don't know what features, and thank you, Syntax Echo. Thank you for the sub. Oh, look at that. It hasn't popped up on the overlay yet, but I appreciate it. We need to write out what are we going to work on today, because I actually don't know. The thing is, like, I'm basically, I'm kind of tired of this project, and the reason I'm tired of it is because we have spent days working on Docker setup and test running and code coverage reports and all these things that have nothing to do with actual features. And it's making me lose interest in this application and working on this application, and it's also making me dread streaming it on Fridays because like we're stuck in this continuous integration and testing land, and so we're gonna take a step back and just work on some features, not worry about like tests and CI and stuff like that, and because that's what we have a lot of fun with. I don't know if it's always the most fun part. I think people have different opinions on that, and like some people really like CI work and stuff like that. That's great. It's something that annoys me, especially because we spend so much time on it. All right. We have to figure out what features to work on. We have this list here, and that's the other thing is like I never did a proper like creation of user stories and everything else. So we need to we might do that eventually, but right now it's all in this text file, and I think we do have some GitHub issues. Maybe we'll look through those, but all right. We did actually update the README with the tech stack. That's done. List creation user experience. We could work on this. So right now, when you're creating a list and you add a channel to the list, this takes up a lot of space. Like especially like once you start adding like a bunch of channels. Yeah, once you add a bunch of channels like this, we technically have a max width on it, but it still takes up a lot of space. So the thought here is instead we could just show the channel icons, make it much more succinct. And then if you want to remove one of them, you like click on it, that expands it and like gives you a remove button or something like that. I mean, we could also just do like channel avatars with like a little X button at the top instead of like a full-on remove button. Honestly, I think I like that. I think I like the idea of like instead of a giant remove button, the channel cards are like no wider than this, and then they have just like a little X at the top that you can click on. I think that's what I want to do. So we'll work on that. That should be good enough. Would it be worth exploring altering the right click on the cards? I don't like doing that. Yeah, I mean there are some apps in the browser that will give you like a custom right click menu. We could do something like that, but the thing is, I feel like most users aren't used to that. Like, unless it really feels like a native application like Figma or like Google Docs or something like that. So we could, but I don't think I want to do that. So that's one thing we will work on. Only show the channel avatar. We'll say like a small remove button. And that's it. I think we also could have a tooltip with channel name. That should be fine. All right, do we have anything else in this of potential features we could work on? I guess the other thing is like right now, this form is kind of designed for mobile, right? It's a single column. We could think of a layout that could work on desktop, like a 2-column layout, or like basically almost like the channel editor is on the right versus beneath the form. I kind of like that. Let's do that. I like that. So we'll say like desktop styles. The channel adder is on the right. 2-column, yeah. So the create form would have a 2-column layout. I think those are things that will greatly improve the user experience of this whole page here. So we'll definitely work on that. Another thing I just thought of was, do we have an all the cool JS channel? What is that one? Well, we do have the JS channels. It has Joy of Code on it. But here's the other thing is right now, for the description, you can't click these links. And so it would actually be pretty easy to add in like a markdown rendering library to be able to click these links. So I think I want to do that. Let's do that. I'm gonna put that on the list as well. Is that the actual size of the page, or am I zoomed in? I think I am zoomed in. Let's see. Yeah, I'm at 120. So at 100%, we're here. Plenty of room to make this 2 columns where like left-hand side is your list information, right-hand side is managing all of the lists that are there. Yeah, I agree with that. But we'll say the video view page, we want render description with markdown. We'll figure out how to do that. I don't know if there's like a Svelte specific library, but there are like markdown libraries out there. So we'll do that. And then maybe one more feature, or we'll just go from there. An edit list icon. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so there should be on the home page. There should be list actions. So you should, because right now you just click it and it goes to that list, but we should have a view button. We also need a delete button, which could be nice to implement. But yeah, we want view, edit, and delete. These are the features we're going to work on today. And I think overall it's going to make the app a little bit more fun. So we'll go from there. Yeah, this chat overlay is open source. It's all on GitHub under the name SproutKit. So this is the Electron app source code, and then also both this overlay and the Electron app use the same component, so that's all in this code base. But it's tied to a custom backend. So I have a backend that's pulling in chats from the YouTube API and then emitting those over WebSockets. And so that's this piece here. So you would need both of those running to get it working. So yeah. Oh yeah, Pranyan asked about runes. Let's take a moment to talk about runes, because this is a Svelte app, and runes are a marketing ploy to get you to talk about things that aren't new, basically. So yeah, we'll talk about runes. And Pranyan is mentioning that, and I think I'll do my best to give like a reaction to the article. I'll do a live reaction, though I've technically already read it and I've already like looked into it, but I'll give you my opinions as I read it, and we'll make it a separate YouTube video. Do I know any good open source stack when you can use software as a service or platform as a service systems? No, I don't. I don't have a good answer for you. And Nathan says, watching you got me interested in programming and take up a computer science degree. Very good. I got to change my life entirely. Started a consultancy, started my first project this week. Nice. Congrats on graduating and getting a job and everything. Infinite scroll could be interesting. I don't know. We'll have this list of things. We'll like vote on what we work on next. That could be something that we work on as well. Yeah. What's up, Alexandria? Welcome in. A share button. What am I thinking? Yeah. So for what was it called? Fresh spots. For fresh spots, we tried to implement a share button, and it took us. It was a sore spot for us because it took us a long time, and then we learned that Firefox doesn't even implement the share API. Yeah, Navigator share. So this is actually an API built into web browsers that will like pop up that custom dialog that like says share stuff. But last time, yeah, it's not supported in Firefox. And I use Firefox. Of course, we could have a call, like a fallback. We could also just like copy the URL to the clipboard. I don't want to worry about it. Honestly, just you mentioning that is very triggering for me in my past experience. So yeah. What do I think about rustling? Seems fine. I think if you're trying to learn a new low-level language that like isn't C++, Rust seems like a good option. They have a lot of good ideas about like memory management and stuff like that. Okay. Let's talk about runes, and I'm gonna figure out how to introduce this as a YouTube video. Honestly, I should get Um, I should open this video because I watched it and it actually gives a really good overview of um, reactivity from Joy of Code. Yeah. How many buttons will each item have? There's a remove button, but will you add more like favorite, share? Is it a bit much for each item to have several buttons? For performance? Oh, we don't even have to worry about performance for like buttons on the page. That's not we definitely don't have to worry about that. We can have as many buttons as we want, basically. I mean, yeah, we could. It really just comes down to, does it look okay? Will it look too crowded? Should we have like how YouTube has like these triple dots and then like actions below that? And Be Mine, thank you for the Prime sub. Because we could do something like this, right? We could have the triple dots, and then that has 3 different things that you can do with it. But you also have to think about just user experience, right? So, like, if I'm thinking from the perspective of someone who creates and manages lists, what is the thing that they want to do most often, right? And in that sense, we might actually have 2 different views of the list page, right? Like, this is like the list management page, so it would probably make sense to have a very prominent edit button on there. But if I'm just here to actually consume content and I'm just here to like go watch some videos on the list, I probably don't care about that edit button, but I care more about like the share button or the view button. So those are the things you would think about. It doesn't really come down to performance. It's more about like what's the best experience for the user, so it's not cluttered and there's like a bunch of extra stuff that they don't actually want. Yeah. Oh, look at the outline, America 2050. The YouTube comments are in a red outline now. Now, it shouldn't be. Look, I'm about to be really mad at YouTube's settings because I told it it shouldn't be subscriber only. I told it. And it is. Man, thank you for telling me, Acid Spark. I made sure this time that I said it. That's a bug. That's a bug on their end. But thank you. If you're not a sub on YouTube, you're more than welcome to chat. I did not mean to have that setting on. Yeah. Yeah, so if you look for an extension called Enhancer for YouTube, it makes your you can choose different themes for your YouTube. What's up, St. Lilek? Welcome in. Yeah. Finally free. Yeah, what's up, Natar? Welcome. And Late Key, good to see you. All right, let me do an off-the-cuff opinions on runes. Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. This video is going to be my take on runes, which are a new thing coming to Svelte version 5. First up, shout out to Mattia over at Joy of Code. If you really want to watch a video on how runes work and like why they even were created, this video is really good. It's only 8 minutes long. Go give it a watch. But here's my take and also like a basic overview of what they are. So you can see here, this is what Svelte components look like today. This article kind of runs through how essentially there's a lot happening behind the hood, even with the code that you're looking at. Like this right here is actually a reactive assignment. Like we are changing a variable that's going to get reflected in the view. And it's just transparent to us. There's nothing that indicates that except for the fact that this is a Svelte component. And so that's one of the major potential gripes that people might have with Svelte, is that a lot of times just by looking at code, you can't really tell what it's doing unless you actually know about the reactivity system. So that is a thing. And so they've introduced these things called runes. I will say runes in a way are kind of like, it's just a term to describe something that's already been, we've already seen and that have come up in other front-end frameworks. So I think it's pretty good marketing, right? Because it's a word that we haven't heard before. You have things like signals and like effects and all of these and like hooks and stuff like that. Runes are basically just coming from a Vue background. Runes are the composition API for Svelte. So if you're coming from a Vue background, you know that in Vue version 3 they introduced these composition functions that basically gave us reactivity outside of components. That's what runes are, and they just have a custom name for marketing, which I think is totally fine. I think the word hooks would be completely accurate to describe what runes are as well. Just like in the view composition API, those functions could be thought of like as hooks. But here's an example of one of these runes, this $state function, where now instead of just having a regular variable declaration, you now use $state, and that is a clear indicator that this is a reactive variable. And that's one of the first runes that you're going to see, is that instead of just defining the variable as is, you use $state, and then that now indicates to Svelte that this should be a reactive variable. And I think that's fine. I think, yeah, so we think, so America 2050 is asking, so Svelte is turning into React. I think what's happening is like, the creators and maintainers of Svelte are realizing the limitations of the current system and have settled on a solution that is very similar to what we have in React and also what we have in the composition API in Vue. So that's kind of where we're like, basically Svelte is a year or two behind where Vue was, and Vue was a year or two behind where React was. So it's all these frameworks kind of just like catching up and copying off of each other, like, or turning into each other, like Late Key is saying. Yeah. And yeah, so Veeb is mentioning Watch Rich's video. Definitely do that as well. I mean, the blog post also talks about why they're needed. There are certain scenarios where the code isn't as apparent. I think this not this one. We'll show yeah, we'll show this one. Because one of the, so we, in the code examples, we showed reactive assignments where if you set a variable, it's going to automatically update. And if anywhere that references it, we'll get that latest value of the variable. But there's this other thing in Svelte, which is a reactive statement, where essentially if you label a statement with this, if its dependencies change, this variable will get recalculated. But the thing to note, and one of the limitations are, this line of code will actually only rerun if width changes. But you can see if you look at the actual function implementation, it's dependent on both width and height. So the bug in this code is that this line of code will not rerun if height changes, even though that's probably what your intention was. So the answer to that with runes are to basically have a computed function and an effect function, very similar to what you see in Vue's composition API. Whereas now, instead of like just defining the function standalone, you create a derived value which has an expression inside of it that's going to rerun anytime those dependencies change. And then you have an effect function which can rerun anytime some of its dependencies have changed. So yeah, that's it. That's basically like you get these functions, $derived, $state, and they allow you to express the things that you normally do in Svelte, but in a more explicit way, and also a way that potentially doesn't introduce bugs because it's a bit more explicit. But my whole thoughts and arguments kind of still stand. Like, it's basically just turning into the Vue composition API, which was like Vue's form of doing hooks in Vue like we had in React. So that's a thing. And what else do I want to say? Oh yeah, and so the other thing about, like, so right now in Svelte, if you wanted reactivity inside of your component, you would do it like I showed. You basically would define your variables, modify your variables, everything's good to go. But if you need something beyond that, you would use a reactive declaration or a reactive statement. If you wanted reactivity outside of a component, you would use a Svelte store. So the store gives you things like, you basically can create a writable store that has subscribe and update functions, but this can exist outside of a component. So this would essentially allow you to implement like global state management or like reusable code that still has reactivity. And that's the old way of doing it. But now, since they're introducing runes, basically now that's a standardized API, so you don't need Svelte stores anymore. You can just use the state function to implement state and like getters and setters and stuff like that. So that in one way that's a good thing, because now the way that in Svelte version 5, the way that you do reactivity inside of a component will be the same way you do reactivity outside of it. So it's kind of like a standardization of that API. But ultimately, as someone who really likes Svelte, the reasons I like it are because it on the surface, it does just look like JavaScript, right? I like the fact that we don't have special methods. And I like the fact that typically when we're working in any front-end framework and we're trying to implement a component like this is what we're trying to do. Like, this is like the simplest representation of having some variable, some function that gets called to change that variable, and then some way of representing it in the UI. This, like, in its purest, simplest form, this is one of the simplest ways to look at that. Like, even if you compare this to like Vue and React and stuff like that. So my thought is, like, I guess it was an eventuality because yes, there were situations where this syntax will not work for what you intend to do. So I think it makes sense that something like this would get introduced because like that's why syntax like this got introduced into Vue, because there were situations where the existing system didn't work. And so that makes sense. But I think the potential misstep here is that this is why people like Svelte. The moment you start introducing these little hook functions, it becomes more and more like React. And we get away from this. We get away from this simplicity. So like that's basically my argument is, sure, I get it that we need it in some scenarios, but if you start to make that the standard, people are gonna be less interested in switching to Svelte. Now, you could argue that in the other direction, whereas now that we have these little functions that look like hooks, React developers are more inclined to use something like Svelte. But you know, it's a thing. And I think the other thing is, like, it's like saying that these are signals, and like Knockout has been doing it since 2010, but Vue has also been doing it since Vue version 2, which was just like a few years after that. I think like Vue gets left out in these conversations a lot, which is very interesting. But we're seeing the same thing happen. So I don't know. What's the conclusion here? Seems fine. I could still write components using this API, but ultimately, I don't like that now it looks less like plain old JavaScript. Now I have to use these extra functions. I will say, like, if you read this blog post and you watch Rich's video, he does talk about, like, in Svelte 5, you will still be able to write components this way. Yeah, so there was an airplane flying over, so I'm going to say that again. But yeah, in Svelte 5, the article says you will still be able to write code this way, but this is just a new API that gets introduced, and it seems like it kind of will be the thing that will be pushed in the documentation, because there was another section in this article that mentions this will be under the old stuff label in the documentation, and the new stuff will be kind of pushed as the main way to do Svelte. Yeah, so yeah. Again, my initial reaction is like, I kind of think it's a mistake. Like, if you look at the amount of backlash in the Vue community when they switched to the composition API, and also how long it took for third-party libraries to like catch up and do the Vue 3 style things, it was kind of detrimental to Vue itself. Like, a lot of people jump ship to Svelte because of that. And now they're doing this, so like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I really don't know what's gonna happen. But I will say, I ultimately, I don't like it. Like, ultimately, like, I want this, right? I want to be able to write components like this. And in the scenarios where I have complex dependencies and complex state updates, I'll reach for something else. But ultimately, I want to be able to write components like this. So yeah, that's my take on it. Again, watch Rich's video, read the article, watch Joy of Code's video. But that's all I have to say about that. Right, so I'm going to read your comments now. I'm going to see a lot of you. The new IE. Wait, Firefox is the new IE? Oh, you're saying because it didn't have the feature that I wanted? Yeah. Yeah, someone might use something like hooks, but I'm talking crazy. Yeah, so I think that's the other thing is, if you just called them hooks, honestly, from a marketing perspective, that might have been better, because then you really would have gotten React developers to be like, oh, it's just hooks, but now in Svelte. I like that. I think that's the other thing is, like, someone that has been just entrenched in the React ecosystem and entrenched in functional components and use effects and stuff like that, this code looks more approachable to them because that's what they're used to. They're so deep in it, right? They're so deep in just like this functional aspect that they forget how simple things can be. But that's it is what it is. Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess that's something I didn't get into is runtime versus compile time. And I guess I'm approaching it more from the developer perspective as well, because I don't think I didn't think about performance in any of these things. Like I care more about, in this case, the developer experience of a very simple API to create the thing that I'm always trying to do versus having to learn the Rune API or like the hooks API and stuff like that. Yeah. Copy my work, but change it a bit so the teacher doesn't notice. Yeah, like giving it a new name. Yeah. Yeah. What's the difference with computed function with memoization? Ultimately, the resulting code is similar. Like, and that's the other thing is like I like you would think about these labeled statements kind of like as computed values here. So like this area is essentially a computed property that gets memoized to only be updated if width or height changes. Like it doesn't change on every render or anything like that. It's only if its dependencies change. So this is like a computed property. And so that's the other thing is $derived is literally computed. And so like if you look at the composition API with Vue, they have a function called computed, works in a very similar way. To me, it is interesting though, and you may not have noticed this, that we're passing in an expression. We're not passing in a function, which means there's some interesting compiler stuff happening where this expression is going to get wrapped in a function that needs to run, right? Because, well, and honestly, if I had to say like my criticisms of this API, this might be one of them. Unless there's a bug in the code, this does not look natural to a JavaScript developer because you know that this is an expression and you would think that gets resolved down to like its actual value. And so if you're passing the actual value into derived, how does it know that it can recalculate it? But if it's working the way that they say it is, we're actually giving it an expression that the compiler is going to keep around in the compiled code to actually rerun that expression. So also like, so this is a little deceptive as well. I think if you're just a normal JavaScript developer. Yeah. What's up, Mr. Boots? Welcome in, Mark Boots. Good to see you. Yeah. What's up, Amasil? Counter.count, where did that come from? Oh, because counter was a wrapper of it. The best part is that all of this is opt-in. Yeah, but I think it's going to be a similar thing that happened with the composition API in Vue, where it is opt-in, but now all of the, like you now have a fracturing of the community where some people really prefer to do it the other way and some people prefer to do it this way. And then that bleeds into like documentation only being really good for one thing, but not the other thing. And then libraries out there being supporting one thing and not the other thing. So I think it's gonna be an issue. Yeah. And what's up, the Shibas? Welcome in. It has been a while. I hope that you're doing all right. As a React developer, understandable code frightens me. Yeah, I think that's kind of the point I was getting at is like the more React you write, the more entrenched you get in this like functional aspect of it. Svelte lost its meaning with this, potentially. Yeah. So without this or hooks, how is dynamic values calculated in Svelte? With the labeled statement. So the $sign thing, or how you can get dynamically updating values like this. So area is going to change anytime width and height changes. Yeah. What's up, Shafa? Yeah, welcome in. And what's up, Chicken? Welcome in. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it matters. I remember how everyone opposed to the plus page thing in SvelteKit. Everyone still ended up agreeing with it from what I've read. Yeah. But ultimately, I'm pulling from the reactions in the community to like what happened in Vue 3, because I think this is very similar. Yeah, and that's really what I'm saying is like the discrepancy in what each can do. What's up, Gaga Minute? Good to see you. And Philip, hello. Hello. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the other thing is like because Svelte is a compiler, it's possible that they could have fixed the $sign thingy. like they could have maybe. I mean, I like obviously I don't know the implementation details and how tricky it would be to actually like fix the compiler for those situations. But it seems like it could basically like traverse the tree of function calls and then like get your list of dependencies based on that, but that's probably a lot harder to do. Yeah. We're switching back to functional components and hooks and Svelte. Yeah, that's what it seems like, yeah. Yeah. Learn the API or learn the hidden behavior. I prefer the first. Let keep things obvious instead of hiding the magic behind the curtain. Yeah, I could see it coming from both places, but I think what I care about more like is a simpler code base, right? Like if this code works and it's fairly easy for like unfamiliar developers of Svelte to understand, I would prefer it over something that's like a bit more concrete in that you can see what it's doing exactly in the code. Because then that makes that would require more boilerplate, and it makes things a little bit more messy, it feels like. Yeah. So yeah. So it behaves like a lambda a function where you're writing the return statement. Yeah, I think that's what I was getting at, is with this $sign derived thing, you have to think about this as if you're passing in a function, like not like you're passing in an expression. Yeah. Yeah. Did not expect as much division as there on these changes, to be honest. Yeah, but I think that's the thing is like you have different audiences for Svelte. Like some people only care about the performance, and so like that's why they switched to Svelte. Some people care more about the developer experience. I mean, you could argue that you really should just be caring about your end product for your users, and ultimately your users probably care more about performance than they do developer experience. But in my experience, the performance gains of these in the types of apps that I build are like inconsequential. So I would prefer a better developer experience. Yeah, and so Sir Guevara, thank you for the bits. I think I missed that. Yeah, appreciate that. What's up, Constantine? Good to see you. Yeah. Runes are technically macros and not hooks, which is why just passing an expression directly is, yeah. So this is a compiler macro to turn this into a function. Yeah. So that's my take on it. Hopefully gave you a little bit of insight and also make maybe a different perspective than what you're seeing from other people. Cause like, it's not all good. I think there should be a focus on simplicity and not trying to do like what React has done and like what the composition API and Vue has done, because I don't think those have to be the eventual answers that every framework arrives at, which is kind of how it's feeling, right? Kind of feels like the maintainers and contributors to Svelte feel like, oh, well, if we want to have that kind of performance and we want to have that similar experience in Svelte, we kind of have to do the same thing that was done in the Vue composition API or like the hooks API. And I just think that maybe we can come up with something that's a bit more innovative, original, and also like maintains its simplicity. I think that's my main takeaway, is that's what I would hope for. Yeah. All right, now we're done talking about that. But again, go watch this video. Yeah. And go read the article too. And also go watch Rich's video too. I think this is the other fascinating thing about modern maintainers of libraries. Like, the creator of this library can post this video and get 60,000 views in 2 days. That's kind of crazy as well. Like there's you have to also admit that there's a marketing aspect to this as well. Like this is also drumming up interest in Svelte, and also in a way like making it more appealing to React developers when they see it on the surface. So like that's the other thing to think about as well. Like it's not all just about, well, that's weird. It's not all just about getting better performance. The only thing I don't like is the name. Yeah, but I think my whole point is the name is literally just a marketing ploy. It's like, and it's almost, and I think that's the other thing that's a little bit deceptive is like to think about it as something new because it has a new name. And I mean, you could argue that, yeah, because these are compiler macros that like, and their compile time optimization is not runtime, that it is slightly new, but I feel like most people don't care about that. Most people care about what happens in development. Yeah. I should try this thing with controversy to see whether I agree with one side or the other. Exactly. The thing is, besides the code, is the lack of a way to express the intention of the dev in the code. Letting the machine decide makes me not comfortable when things do not go the way I intended. Yeah, and honestly, I think that's kind of the main point of these runes is like it's trying to align what the developer expects with like what the compiler actually does at the cost of developer experience, I think. Yeah. I like runes more than I like compiler macros that turn into signals. Sure. Yeah, I think that's the other thing. It's like you're giving it a name, and like now people can use that name and associate it with a specific idea. Yeah, yeah, I think there are what do I want to say? There's a lot of different perspectives you can take on giving it a giving it a unique name. Let's take a stretch. And what's up, Ritz? Welcome in. Yeah. Naming gives a lot of power over the thought process. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. It's like you give it a name that people can internalize as to what it is, and then now when you see it in the code, you don't have to think about that whole process. You just think about the name that it was given. All right, let's write some code. So if you're just joining us, this is listed. You can create lists of YouTube channels. You create a list, you put a bunch of channels on it, and now you get a feed that has all the videos of that channel. And one of the first things we're going to work on, I think, is the homepage. So like right now, you just click the card and it goes to that page. I want to see some actions, some actions on here. We are using skeleton for our UI components. And I kind of want to find like a circle button, like a round button, like put some icons in it. That could be cool. Like these. Though now that I think about it, we would have to find an icon library because I think we removed the icon library that we were using. I want to avoid doing things that require us installing and searching for things because I just want to write some code right now. Maybe we can use emojis as placeholders. But here we go. Let's go with a medium-sized button. Like this. Oh, no, we want button icon like that. And I think we want a view, edit, and delete button on these for now. So let's get that going. So if you look in components, we have, list card. I do believe this is the one that's being displayed here. And below, actually, I think the description would be there regardless of that. So below the description, we want to have a button that's like the edit button. Let's see what we get. Yeah, something like that. Let's work it out. So we're gonna have edit. We're gonna have view. And we're also going to have a delete button. Like this. I think I want these to be smaller than the actual avatars, right? Because now they visually, um, it's like I can't almost can't tell the difference between these and the channel icons. Let's make the channel icons bigger, maybe. Let's make them bigger. So right now they have a size of 12. What if we go with double? That's gonna be, that's almost too big. 18? Yeah, giving them a color, right aligning them, all of that good stuff, we'll do that as well. Well, the thing is, so for now, I do want these on this page because from this perspective, like we are basically we're a list maintainer and list editor. Like I'm the one creating all of these lists. There will be a different experience if I'm just trying to watch. We could also almost just have like a toggle, right? Like watch versus edit, and then I have the ability. Then I like maybe that hides and shows these icons. But I need to look at Tailwind because H18 didn't work. So like, what are the height classes that are in Tailwind? We had H12, 14, and 16 and 20. Let's go 16. All right, I think I like 16. We will do that over here too. Okay. Do I like that though? Because now they get bumped to the next line. What if we do 14? And then we do 14 over here too. Yeah, that's it, right? 14 is the winner. I think we're gonna make these buttons down here the small buttons. Button icon small. And then we're gonna wrap this in a div. Give it a little margin on top. What's up, Roga? Did I do that? And then also make it a flex box and justify end. So it'll push it all to the right. See? It's looking better. I think you didn't trust me, but I do like how this is looking. Yeah. I think the other thing is we can make it have 100% height to take up the container. Yeah, we'll add a gap too. Is it height full? That's funny. And then I think if we do a line end, will it? So we want justify end, which pushes it to the right, but we also want to push it to the bottom. Do we want items end? Maybe not. I think 100% our height full is not what we wanted though. Yeah. But I think we will add a gap. Let's do like a gap 1. That's better. A little bit of space. And then we can also add colors accordingly. So like variant. So for view, I want this to be, I think, primary. And then for edit, this should be secondary. No. Primary should be delete because that's red. And then what else do we have available to us in the tertiary? Success? What are we looking for? The view button should be warning. We're getting there, kind of. Kind of. All right, but here's what I want though. So like when the card is larger, this should extend to the bottom and then push all of the stuff to the bottom. So what's happening here? Yeah, so this container, for instance, if we did like height 24, that pushes it down there, but I don't want height 24. Like I want it to take up the remaining height. I think if I think in order to do that, I would need to make the parent a flex box and give this like a flex of the remaining, right? Yeah, so I have both of those already. We just need height. We need height on this container in order to get them pushed to the bottom. Yeah, flex one would do it if the parent was a flex box, but the parent isn't a flex box. If we make it a flex box, and then also, I don't think I want these to be a link anymore. These should just be a div, and then view is going to be an href. I like that idea, Shafayette. So like basically, this isn't flex one. All of this is at the top. So this itself is a div. And then the parent container will be flex space or items between, justify between. It's not happening though. This isn't getting pushed down. Let's see ultimately what is happening though. Oh. So space between is that, yeah, justify content space between. Is this justify between? Let's see what's happening though. So we've got the card, which is a flexbox. We then have this div, which doesn't have any classes on it. I guess it shouldn't, because it'll just be at the top. And then we have this one, which we are trying to push to the bottom with space between. Like this. Like the fact that there's a space right here is getting to me. Is it a line between? Maybe it is. That was it. Yeah, it was a line between. Or was it? No, it wasn't. The thing is, we shouldn't... items end. The outer div is flex. Oh, flex direction, flex column only adds flex direction column. There we go. All right, now we have to fix everything else. You're right. I was missing the flex. I thought flex included display flex, but it only includes flex direction. Okay, so we don't want items in. We want justify in. Yeah, this is the winner. Because now you'll see the buttons all align. Um, and we don't want in, we want between. Betwixt these, push them apart. Um, like this. Yeah, the fact that there's no 2-line description here and there is there, then all right, we got there. It took me a second, but we got there. I appreciate all your comments too. I know uh you're like throwing things at me and I can only take in so much, but yeah, the resizing should work. Yeah, so we have multi-columns. I like it, and then I will say I don't like the color of the icons. We're gonna fix that. That's just temporary. Um, but like, yeah, in this scenario where this one has 2 lines and this one only has 1, the buttons are still aligned, which is what we wanted. Everyone's excited for features. Yeah, and I can't blame you. I am too. All right. I don't like this yellow. Let's pick another color. I mean, maybe we do want just like the tertiary color. Um, yeah, I would agree with that. If we went with grid, we would have less divs potentially. The issue is I didn't. I guess we was if with grid I would still want two divs though because I wouldn't want to place each of these in within the grid. All gray icons. What's Primogen's other channel? Well, these buttons don't work yet. Oh, this button works. The Primetimeagen? What's his other channel? The Primogen? The Vimogen. I wonder why it doesn't show up when you search for Primogen. Oh, there we go. Well, it looks like he only posts to the prime time. There's one. Oh, 4 days ago. Man, he posts often. That's probably why he has so many views. He just posts. Also it's good content or entertaining content. But yeah, he's posting every day. All right. Yeah, this button works. The view button works. Do we pick an icon library? Also, I'm feeling more and more like we should put these behind a triple dot. We should put these three things behind a triple dot menu, and then the title should be a link that takes us to view the page. Yeah, we'll add an icon library. The only thing is like it's not going to be a 5-minute mission in and out. It's going to take us an hour to install, make sure it works the way we want it. You know, all right. Let's let's find a menu button. We know how these things go. We really do. You only need to download the ones you need on plugin icons. It's like I said, it's not easy. Yeah, we'll honestly we might fix that today, Revolt, but we need fix scroll position on page change. Because that's what's happening is like if I'm down here and then I click on the list, the scroll position stays for where it was at for the previous page. When navigating, it should scroll to the top. Or it should load already scrolled to the top. Anybody know what this would be called? What's up, Chad? Look at us. We're making buttons. Buttons on the list. But we're about to put them behind a triple dot menu. Wouldn't it just be called a menu? Oh, it's called a pop-up. Okay. Or is it? Because I don't want a pop-up like tooltip. I want a menu pop-up. Oh, is it? Do I want to drop down? I guess I kind of want some form of this. Do I want a modal? Yeah, I guess we'll go with combo box. I'm used to this being called like a menu in most frameworks. Um, yeah, because we have like a data pop-up. Wait, like how do I tie them together though? Because now the target would need to be an element reference because I have a bunch of them on the page. Here I just so we're not using React or Material UI. I just want to show you what I would expect to see. Like I'm pretty sure they like Material UI literally has like a menu component or something like that. Yeah, menu. And you do something like this. And if you look at the code, you have the menu and then menu items. There's not all this like weird selector and stuff like that. That's the API that I want to see because when I look at this code, it's telling me that I'm gonna have to like specifically get like an element ref to pass to target and etc. And then also like this element is not in any way tied to the button. It's the way that they link up is this data pop-up attribute. Like this pop-up combo box needs to match what the target is. Be the API you want to see. I mean, I searched for a menu. See if there's a drop down on the navbar app components. Let's see. Um, no, I think we have to use it, which I don't want. I don't want to. It feels cumbersome. But we'll do it. Here we go. Here we go. No three dots now. We'll do it. What's nice is we're already inside of a subcomponent, right? This is the other thing that you have to worry about now is like if I had multiple of these on the page and it wasn't in a nested component, this would get really tricky because the selectors here it'd be like weird to get reference to and stuff like that. But with this, yeah, we could create our own. Do we want to create our own? That could be a fun little thing. Let's do it. We're going to create our own. We're going to create a little component here called menu. And it will use the popover API. How does Svelte work? Script. Script is what we need. uh, what's up, Arpajon? Good to see you. I've been doing so many typos today. I hope it's not a deeper brain issue, or not today. Like I feel like the past few days is I make so many typos, and also it's harder for me to notice my typos now. Am I getting old or am I going insane? But here we go. Here we go. Or both? Is it both? So we have a button, and then we have a menu that we want to trigger. How's my sleep? I feel like so night before last wasn't good. Last night I think was good. Yeah. All right. So now we need list box and list box item. And combo box value is a string. I guess that's the thing is if I don't even care about the value because all of these are going to be a link that gets clicked on. But here for target, does target have to be a string? Does that mean we need to create like a random pop-up ID? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Yeah, we have Copilot and we're not using it, but that's okay. Match the pop-up data value. Well, we're trying to roll our own. By using their API. Yeah, okay, so yeah, getting the target element easy, but their API doesn't make that available, right? Their API says you need to give it a target, which is this. And so now I'm thinking, all right, well, if we want, and thank you, Livervolt, thank you for the prime. If we want this to be dynamic, like to be something else, because we're gonna have a different pop-up ID for. I mean, I guess is it that the API will choose the closest one? Let's see. I guess we don't even want a list box. We just want a list of items. Like this. Description list, ordered list, list. We just want a list. Okay. We've got this thing. I now want to use this menu over here. This now needs to be a menu like this. Let's see what happens. Did I change the name? So pop-up combo box, pop-up combo box. The close query is not list box item. The close query is just list. Indeterminate value is undefined. See you later, Rear Window Soda. Thank you for hanging out. Pop-up is complaining. What's the indeterminate value? Intermediate? Not indeterminate? Store pop-up. Did I miss something in the setup? Oh, it's Skeleton Labs. Skeleton. And then pop-up settings is the type. Install floating UI from npm. This is required for pop-ups to function. All right. Import floating UI into your application's root layout. All right, I don't want to do this. I mean, well, you might be asking why. Why do I not want to do this? This seems like a lot of setup just to get a menu. That's the only reason. Like we've been working on this project for a while now, and every time we want to go do something that requires more and more dependencies and more setup, it gets us down the wrong path. So it's like I have to call it here. We're not going to go down this path. Now you might argue, hey, it's just a few dependencies and then you're good to go. My past trauma is stopping me from going down that path. So we have to find another we have to find another solution. Here we go. So yeah, I think like Tailwind might have drop downs. We'll go look and see what they have. But the other thing is, I feel like I guess you don't need JavaScript for a menu because you can use CSS closest active selectors to get like a pop-up. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, and this is how we roll our own, right? We manage the state. We have the custom classes for like a floating element. They give us this code for free. Yeah. Menu button, aria hidden true. Oh, we want HTML. Show and hide it based on state. I also don't want to do that. I mean, yeah, I think we're not going to do triple dot menu. I don't want to figure it out. I think ultimately, like if you're trying to get my sense of like how I'm feeling right now, I just want to work with what we got to get the features that we want. I don't want to install new things. I don't want to write a custom component from scratch. I realize in the world of development sometimes you have to do that, but not today. Not today. Let's see. Yeah. You'll just use an if block and one variable to toggle. You say that, Roga, but you don't know what I've been through. It's not just one variable that you have to toggle. You also have to have like the element that pops up. You have to position the element that pops up. Yeah, I'll race you. I don't want to race. I don't want to write it from scratch. Let's get the edit button working. How about that? Can I bet seedlings on it? No, you can't, because I think here's the other thing is any solution that you come up with is going to be missing things that I need and things that you didn't think about. And I'm not I'm not ready to spend my time reviewing your solution and then updating it to work with what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? All right, what's the edit page? Buttons look great. Yeah, they're fine. It is edit/id. Okay, so we'll update this button to be edit/id. And then we'll remove the delete button for now because that would require popping a modal. Are you sure you want to do that? And then we have to implement the backend route for it. Basically, I just want this app to be written, and I don't want to have to do any work. That's the whole thing. Here we go. And my other thing is, if we go with, I guess we also don't even have to use icons. We can literally just write this out. Amazing mission. Perfect. That's our little placeholder. We'll come back with icons later. We'll add a little to do. Find icon library. Yeah. This is more development than centering a div. Functionality is why users buy your software. It's true. It is true. In this case, no, I think this still works. I think one thing I will do is make the title a link. I think that's what a user would want to do, is click that title to get to it. I guess for whatever reason, we lose the anchor stylings. You saying delete these buttons now? So yeah, the title works. I want like hover styles though. Do links not have default styling in Tailwind? You need the visited class? Well, the other issue is like I think each of these channel icons should be a link to that individual channel. And then I think when you click this, that should expand the rest of them in line. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Hover underline. Yeah, just like that. that's what we want. Um, cool. Yeah. Yeah. Remove the view button. Yeah, I think at that. I mean, but the thing is, I would think people potentially want to be able to go directly to the edit page from here. Yeah. Watching you struggle with components and all that makes me never want to switch from Angular. It's really nice in the NG world. I think like something can definitely be said for more mature frameworks and things that have been around for longer. Like Skeleton only recently reached version 2, and like just a month or two before that it reached version 1. So it's pretty new. It's pretty new. Yeah, I think we need tooltips On hover, yeah. All right, let's. Can we add tooltips easily, or am I gonna get triggered again? Um, Toast? No, we don't want toast. Tooltip? It technically is a pop-up, isn't it? Well, no. I don't know. Hover bold instead of hover red on the names. I wanted them to know that it's a link. But yeah. Um, do we have to use popover? Only show the edit button on hover. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that either. But also, I'm not going to spend much longer on this UI because we got other things we can work on too. Yeah, we we want on hover, but it's not going to be easy. But we have to install this pop-up library. Yeah. We did say that what did we want? We wanted tooltips elsewhere in the app. Yeah, I think that's a good idea too. Debon is you have like an active class on the card. I think the issue is like typically when you have an active class, that means you can click the whole card. Yeah, it is true. When you're on mobile, like these buttons, I think are going to make the most sense because they may not know that they can click on that title. Check off list actions from the to do. Thanks, Beeb. Thanks. Thanks for making it feel like we actually did something because we did. Look at that. We added list actions to the homepage. Cool. I want to fix this next because it seems like it's getting on a lot of people's nerves. It's kind of getting on my nerves too. Fixing the scroll position. I think a skeleton has like a scroll into view. Or does Svelte have a scroll into view? SvelteKit? Maintaining scroll position. Preserve scroll. By default, no scroll is false. Oh, you mean like the native API? Okay. Okay. But oh, for scrolling, check it out. So if let's say I'm on the homepage and I scroll down and I want to go to this list, when the list loads, the scroll bar is down here because it didn't get updated to be scrolled to the top. Because technically this was a SPA navigation, a single page application navigation, where it wasn't a re-render. It just replaced the contents of the DOM, which means the scroll position was already down here. That's why that's happening. So we could do something like this, but I if there's a way to do it in Svelte, that'd be great. So like they have the go to function. And actually I think they had something about no scroll disable scroll handling. Maybe V, but let's see. Well, this is the Svelte spa router. This isn't SvelteKit. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're right on that, Kava, but we are using SvelteKit, and SvelteKit is technically the thing doing the navigation here. So all I'm saying is they might have something built in that does the scroll for us. Or like this go to with no scroll. What's up, Natne Labe? Good to see you. It seems to be an open issue with SvelteKit. This is from 2021. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Forcing a re-render when the URL changes. Well, I don't want to do that. That's not a fix. That's yeah. Only Firefox is affected. All right, I'll try Chrome really quick. Yeah, so there's a few different places we can do it. Like we could do it in on mount, but I would want to do it in a more generalized location so I don't have to do it in all the specific components that we navigate to. So yeah, let's see. I can't use Google Chrome because I'd have to log in, and I don't want to do that right now. So let's fix it. let's fix it. So I think using scroll into view is probably what we want, but we also have to look at like where this is happening. Yeah, so I think we want to do it in the layout file because the layout file is basically where, and not even here. I think it's technically this. It's like what gets rendered into the slot there for being the page itself. So yeah, I think technically we could do it in here, like on navigate, scroll this element to the top, because I think this is the element that is being scrolled. Pretty sure. Because like if we look at the, yeah, even the home page here, this is what's getting loaded into that slot. The issue could be though if the scroll bars are on this container, but I don't think they are. I think because of its behavior, the scroll bars are actually on the parent in layout. So we could bind this to scroll container. So we have a scroll container, which is in an HTML div element. And then we want to get access to, I think there's an on navigate from app navigation. Yeah, we get that from Svelte. On navigate, this will run. And on navigate, we can say scroll container dot scroll to 00. Let's see if it works. I don't know if it worked or not. We didn't get any errors, but let's see. If I go down here and go to there. No. Let's make sure this is running. And it also might be possible that we have to scroll the correct element. Because it's possible that we're, yeah, so it's scrolled. The issue now, though, is it scrolled before the component loaded. I guess I would be curious which element has the... div ID page. I think this is something that's added by either Skeleton or SvelteKit. It's weird to me. I think, yeah, that fixes it. We can also do fun stuff like, well, yeah, I don't think we want smooth scroll behavior though. But let's see what that looks like. Also, where can I specify that? Yeah, left 0, top 0. Like I could be way down here and then I go here. Didn't scroll to the top though. Yeah, it does that. Which is probably fine. I think the only issue is if you're way down here, well, yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Ryan. But the only issue with that is I have to put it every single place that I have a link, which is also something I wanted to avoid doing. This seems to work. Yeah. In the layout, is this starting to feel more like a mobile app? I mean, is that a bad thing or is that a good thing? I think the other thing is, all right, so we're here, and if we go to the home page, that one doesn't scroll. Why? Oh, I think it's because I'm in Firefox. I think it's the reason I'm a seal. I think, according to this issue, it's broken in Firefox. Okay, navigating, and then when we go home, it was navigating. And then when we go here, navigating. Okay. And then when we go here, it's back at the top. All right, well, why was that broken before? Maybe I had to do a hard refresh. If I go here, and I go, oh, no, if I do this, let's see. Yeah, if I do this, and then I go to the home page, it doesn't scroll to the top. Is that because we have a different scroll container? Well, yeah, I think the header is outside the slot, but we're still navigating. So this navigation is running. It's technically is running, but I think we just might have a different scroll container on this page. Not using the scroll container variable? Where is that at, Veeb? Do they give it to us in navigate? Oh, yeah, I know that. And the reason is there's this magic, not magic. It inserts a div with ID page as a child of this element. And I think also what's happening is this element, which has overflow set, Or maybe it doesn't. Well, go to is a function you call when you want to go somewhere. So you can only call it if you're trying to change the page. It's not the kind of thing where it'll be called every time the page changes. Yeah. How can you show a loading spinner until the assets are loaded? We actually did a very similar thing last time. So we have this component called avatar with fallback. And basically, you've got a fallback here, where in our case, we just showed the letter of the name. But we show that if there was an error loading the image. But you could use similar logic and have basically like a loading variable, and then that loading variable gets set to true. So images have events like on load, on error. So basically, you can use these events on your image to decide what to show. So like initially, you're showing loading or something, and then later on you swap it out for the image that did get loaded, that kind of thing. So yeah, page has a scroll. Page content. Wait, maybe I need to get page content. Maybe I need to choose both. Um, well, we will also do it in this component because like when if I click here, yeah, it scrolls to the top. That makes sense because we click a video, and I think we added that somewhere. Maybe we didn't though. Maybe navigating is just what did it. Okay, but now if I go to the home page, it still doesn't scroll to the top. I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna fix it for now, but I think the issue is the scroll container is different on the home page, and like this isn't covering it. I think that's what we're running into. Like I don't know. Let's see if I put this code here and it works, then that's not the issue. Yeah. Well, gotta get rid of the TypeScript isms. No. Okay, that is the case. It's not waiting long enough then. Is there an on navigate end? Before we navigate to a new URL. Is there an on navigated? After navigate is what we want. That's the winner. Yeah. All right. We got there, everybody. Well, that's much better. So we're here. We go back home. Beautiful. We're here. We go down here. We click this. Beautiful. That's what we want. Now, do I need both of these scrolls? I don't know. Probably not. I think it'll work with only the page selector. Yeah. Okay. I have this similar scrolling problem. This seems to be it. So you put this in your layout. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Veeb. Fix for Firefox. And we'll link to this issue. Great. All right, where are we at in our devlog? We fixed the scroll position. I think next we will work. Honestly, this seems more fun to me, is rendering the descriptions instead of working on the list create UI. Check it out. This is what we want to do. When you go to a video like this, right now, the description doesn't have clickable links. So I'm going to render this as Markdown to get clickable links. That's what I want to do. But I'm going to take a break first because I've been live for almost 2 hours now. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in we are going to bring in another library, but it should be easy enough. And then we'll render this to get links. Yeah, that's the other thing, is we can make this expand collapse. Like by default, it only shows title, and then or maybe like we show like a few lines of it, and then we click a thing to expand it. So yeah, that's the other thing, is like rendering these things. You have a potential cross-site scripting vulnerability, but we should choose a library that either prevents that, or we will need to combine it with a library that that can remove any cross-site scripting attempts. But yeah, I like the idea of an expandable description box too. Cool. All right, but I'll be back in 7 minutes time. In the meantime, if you want to do some research for me, you can post a link to a Markdown library that you know of, or a SvelteKit Markdown library. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of that too, V, but in order to do that, we're going to have to start using the YouTube embed JavaScript API, which honestly could be fun, because at that point, we're like controlling the video. And like if I click down here, then it technically accesses the API to change the timestamp inside. And then once we're starting to use that, now we have access to like video ended. And then when video ended, we can go on to the next video in the playlist. I kind of want to do that. Parse timestamps in description. Link changes timestamp in video. On video and play next video. Yeah, Marked is the one that I've used before. It's a general purpose Markdown library. Cool. All right, I'll be back in 7 minutes. If you've been sitting all day, stand up, do a stretch, call your mom, and I'll see you soon.
trouble at a rubble's where I came. See the flame shine bright, they were puzzled how I'm saved. I could never serve the passion or the fight or the man or for sight how I am. Ain't nobody asking, I'll be basking in my liberty, cause slavery is real, doesn't mean this.
Hello, I'm back. Hello, everyone. And Imkui says I forgot you had me what you had playing here. Well, we're back now. Thanks for leaving me on while I was on break. All right, so if you're just joining us, we're working on this app listed. We right now are going to work on the video descriptions. So right now, when you go to a page, when you go to a video, we're just embedding the full description here, but we want to render it as markdown in order to like automatically get these links clickable. So that's the plan. We'll also do an expanding description. So we'll, by default, we'll do it very similar to what YouTube does. Let's see. Where they have it like this. So like there's like a more button, and then when you click it, it expands the rest. So that's what we're gonna work on. In terms of Markdown, I do know of the library Markdown parser. The thing is, ultimately, really the only thing we want here are automatically clickable links. So if Marked has a setting for that, I think that's what we'll do, because otherwise there isn't really anything else we want to render here. And like we could write our own parser that like finds every link and like makes it clickable, but I think ultimately a Markdown parsing library is going to be the best at that. Let's see. Yeah, and so Marked does not sanitize the output HTML. If you're processing potentially unsafe strings, it's important to filter for possible cross-site scripting attacks. Yeah. Just did an entire feature to my project during this small break. Nice. Glad to hear it. Okay. We should look at options. Because if there's a way to, honestly, maybe we don't even need Markdown. We might even just find a fit for purpose library that turns links into anchor tags. Like HTML auto parse links in text or something like that. How to automatically detect external links in a paragraph of text with JavaScript. Do I want to do that? Detect links in text. A good regular expression? Yeah, I think we don't want to just pass this directly as HTML. And I think even if you did, like, technically, like, if you have text in a paragraph tag in HTML, it still doesn't make it clickable. You need something else for that. Yeah, anchor me seems like what we want. Can we look at it on npm? Yeah. I mean, this has 20,000 weekly downloads, a lot of dependents. Validates URLs and emails against a full IANA list. Validates port numbers. Huh. Last updated 4 months ago, so it somewhat up to date. None that don't look sketchy, yeah. Query string on the URL is not supported. Oh, because they don't have a slash on there, probably. Yeah, did somebody ask about my theme? Yeah, my info theme, my theme is stuff is there. Can't be imported? Anchor me is not a function. Okay. Do we just use a regular expression? Do we use the regular expression from the top upvoted answer on Stack Overflow? Found a pretty solid one here. Does not match all email addresses. I'm sure you can trust that. It does not match localhost. It won't detect something like moo.com without HTTP or www. I would assume Anchor Me is using a regular expression. But there's just more to it. Cause see, like there's a lot more involved than just a really good regular expression. Cause if you also want to parse things that like don't have HTTP in front of them but are like a valid domain, technically you could make that. You could turn that into a link. Yeah. What's Playcode, Hushu? I've never heard of that site. Am I about to get fished? Probably not, but I'm gonna turn my VPN on just in case. I would trust. Well, now I can't think of them either. What's the? I don't know. All right, here I go clicking links. Oh, on hover. But how do I view the source? Can you send me the source, Hushu? Or a link to the source? How don't I see your message, Acid Spark? Am I missing other YouTube messages? Hmm. Um. Oh. Automod. It could have been the fact that I just connected to my VPN. I think that was the issue. Is like I lost connection to my backend for a second. Group hover hidden. Group hover flex. Okay. Yeah, the thing is, I wouldn't want it on hover. It would need to be on click, so that way, like, it works on mobile too. So they have like a group active or something like that. That's really the main issue. All right. Let me also search for this. Markdown only parse links. How about that? So that's coming from Tailwind group focus and other states. Yeah, we specifically want on click. So I think that might be something that you combine with like a checkbox or something like that. Ooh. Why don't we try Anchor Me? Because a few of the issues scared me. a few of the issues were like we're not going to be able to import it. Yeah, let's try it. I'm not opposed to trying it. Let's try it. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So now on the page to watch a specific video, we have the description right here, but we want to render it. So what are we going to do? We're going to take this description and render it with links. Yeah, so right now, you can see that these links are just text. I want those to become, well, not that. Why is everything slow all of a sudden? Yeah, these links on the videos are just text. I want those links to become clickable links like this. All right, how do we use this library? Yeah, we'll import Anchor Me. Okay. And then what? You just pass it in? So we will do, how do I render HTML in Svelte? Bind inner HTML, anchor me with the description. All right, why is this complaining? Unsafe at HTML? We'll look it up. Oh, you do it inside. I see. Okay. We'll get there. Like that. All right. Will it work? It worked. The only issue is we want them to actually show up as links, and we want them to open in a new tab. I wonder if there's an option for that. Options, yeah, there we go, options. I know it's not fun to compare, but it's much more fun to watch new features. Yeah, I think I agree. It's much more fun for me too. Yeah, so the thing is with most front-end frameworks, well, with all front-end frameworks like Vue, React, Svelte, they prevent injection of code by default. The only way you can actually try to render something as HTML is if you use their direct built-in way of doing it. So that's what this does. This basically says this right-hand side, if that has HTML code inside of it, it's actually going to get rendered out. Because if we didn't do that, watch what happens. Watch it. You get this, right? You get the code itself. And the reason there's an explicit way to do this is you want to prevent injection of code. Like you don't want to always try to render things out unless the developer specifically wants to do it, because somebody could have a video description that has like a script tag inside of it that tries to send the cookies for this page off to some server or something like that. And if you just rendered everything without, if you just rendered everything, then you'd be vulnerable to that. So this basically renders out the things. Okay, I think we have some options here. Or do we? No, we have input is going to be an option. Like that. Cool. Target blank. Class. So here's where we can add all of the Tailwind classes. We could also do rel is no opener, no follower. Are those the ones we want? Target blank opens the link in a new tab. Yeah, so dangerously set inner HTML is how you do it in React. In Svelte, you do it with the @HTML thing. All right, what Tailwind classes do we want here? I think we want these. But not on hover. We did it. And now when we click it, it opens in a new tab. That was too easy. That's fun though. So yeah, now any video you go to that has links in it, those links will be clickable and they open up in a new tab. Cool. I feel like some people don't like the red color though. I mean, we potentially could use secondary. Yeah, I kind of like the blue links better. What do you all think? No refer. No refer? No follower. No refer. Nice. I'm happy with that. That's great. That was easy. Some YouTube messages aren't displayed. I think it's my is that the case? Surprising that no, I see your messages. Yeah. Is it no dash refer? Yeah, I like the blue links too. Okay. HTML anchor blank security. Let's talk about this for a second if you haven't heard of it. So why am I doing that no opener issue or no opener thing? By default, if you don't put no opener on rel for your links that are target blank, the window that opens up in a new tab technically has access to this opener attribute on the window.opener. And that would actually give it a reference to the window or tab that triggered the link. And why that's dangerous is if you click some malicious link, it opens in a new tab, and then that malicious link actually has access to like change the page that you just clicked on, because window.opener is literally the page that opened it. So it could do something like window.opener.href equals some malicious website. So let's say I click a link here, it opens a new tab, but without me even realizing it, when I clicked on this tab, some JavaScript over here said window.opener. Actually, we can check it out. If I don't put this no opener on here, we can demonstrate this right here, right now. Watch it. So let's say I have this here. Now over here, window.opener is null. Why is it null? Well, I don't know if it's not a thing anymore. Yeah. Oh, that's okay, Veep. I have the terms Twitch, YouTube, live stream, live all blocked in the Twitch chat. That's probably why. Um Oh yeah, you can't send links in the YouTube chat. Is it because it's cross domain? I thought it worked cross domain. That's the whole reason for it being a security issue, is that it is cross domain. But window.opener is null. It's null. Oh, the cross origin opener policy. I see. So I think SvelteKit might have this by default. Or something. Will the ban expire at some point? Just when people stop asking. Stop asking about it. That's the main thing. Cross origin opener policy. I feel like that might be set somewhere. Oh well. Oh well. I guess if a server sets that, then technically you don't need this, but yeah. Okay. All of that to say, we have clickable links. Oh yeah, yeah, and that's fine, Veeb. I don't have a better way of stopping people from saying things. So you're literally just by banning that word, it prevents people from asking or even trying to talk about it. All right, next up, let's make this description box a certain height by default. Yeah, overflow hidden block. I mean, honestly, why didn't we just make this a div? Why is this a span with class block? Yeah. What do you mean by that, TCG? How can we select a good link? Yeah, so that's on YouTube side. YouTube will not render links, no matter how hard I try. I think because there's even a setting to say allow links in the YouTube chat, but it doesn't work. All right, I think we're gonna have a specific height. We'll have a class binding, height 24. True. So by default, this is going to be nice and small. Let's go bigger than that. If you link with no protocol, I don't know if it'll work. I have no idea. Oh, it wouldn't be a malicious page. I mean, I probably didn't do a good job of describing what actually happens. Basically, if you don't put this and your server that this page is loading on isn't preventing it from being sent, the other page has access to, regardless of what it is, has access to window.opener, which gives it access to the tab that opened it. And we want to stop that from happening. But the thing is, any website could do that if your website didn't specifically prevent it from happening. All right, the other thing is like I want like a subtle fade out. So like if you see on YouTube, when we hide the description here, there's like this subtleness. Kind of want to do that here too. I also want to make it a little bit taller. 32? $44. Yeah, I want it to like be cut off, and then there will be a button we can click on. 40? Yeah, I like this. I like that. Because we're about to give this some logic. So we're about to we're going to have an internal variable that gets set to true or false depending on when you click on a button. Yeah. Okay. The other thing is we want to have a little button down here that says well, how do they do it on YouTube? More. The issue is this button needs to be overlaid on top of this HTML. I guess we could give it a class of fixed. And then bottom, so it could be at the very... Fixed or absolute. And then this container should be position relative. Yeah. Yeah. But you're just getting around it, says, so stop it. Yeah, so we want absolute like top 0 would do it. I'm expecting to see like a more button down here. Honestly, I feel like this could also be YouTube uses absolute with a generated left value. So okay, the issue I think here is we're inside the card when I kind of want this div to be outside the card. Yeah, like this. So this is gonna be a separate card. And then did this have padding on it? Yeah, padding 4. Okay. Oh, there it is. there's the button. I just couldn't see it before. But where's the title? Okay, so the title is at the top, and this is all the description. Is the font different in there? I don't think so. Did we change the font in the previous parent container? Oh, we did text gray. Yeah, all right, we need all these styles. Oh, you know what? Pretty sure my linter is not on right now. Yeah, it was disabled for various reasons. All right, now what's this complaining about? HTML can lead to cross-site scripting. We talked about that earlier, so we want to ignore that. What? Why isn't this working? Oh, because it needs to be it needs to be an HTML comment. There we go. Oof, okay. Yeah, let's see what it looks like now. There we go. So we have the card for the video, the card for the description, and then this more button. Um, it technically needs to be left 0 too. Yeah, so that puts the more button there. But here's the tricky situation. Well, actually, or is it tricky? I think if we do bottom. Okay, there it is. More. And then we also want something like, I guess if we did right 0, yeah, that pushes it over here. That's pretty good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. Okay, let's make it an actual button. Um, how's that work? Button variant filled. Text to Excel for this. Um, to Excel for what? The text? Oh, for more. I don't know about all that. Also, we'll make this a primary button. Yeah. So we click that. Does it need to be a button? The thing is, if it's not a button, is it apparent that you can click it? Is the thing. And will people know where to look for it? Like a link? On YouTube, it's just bold and it highlights when you hover over it. I guess we can replicate that. Bold. Um, What's this? What's the tailwind class for bold, and why is it not bold? Is it text bold? Font bold. Cool. Keep in mind screen readers for a video site. I don't. Yeah. So here, I mean, people using a screen reader still might listen to the video, right? Hover. Not icon. Cursor. Pointer. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Cool. So when we click this, we want to change the variable that says description visible. So we're going to have a reactive variable up here that says description visible. This defaults to false. And now we can use this variable. So right here, we want to have this height if description is not visible. But if description is visible, we remove that class, and then the whole thing will be visible. And then when we click this span here, on click, we'll set description visible to not description visible, like this. Now, now that we've put a click handler on a span, it needs more stuff, which is why I think this needs to be a button. This needs to be a button. Yeah. Cool. And we need to set description visible to be not visible, like this. Why is this complaining? Arrow function should not return assignment. Yeah, that's fine. How do functions work? Oh yeah, one more curly brace. Cool. All right, moment of truth. Boom. Nice, but not nice because it technically expanded above instead of expanding below. But then the other thing is we'll change the text to be corresponding to what we're showing here. Yeah, more to less, less to more. Yeah, and then that's the other thing is we want the style of the overlap similar to like what's happening on YouTube. Because if you look here, this is like it has that gradient there, so it looks like it's covering whatever is it's on top of. But first, if description is visible, then we will say less. Otherwise, we will say more. More? Okay. Less. That's not the best behavior though, because when we click less, we probably want to scroll to the top here. How does YouTube do it? More? Less. Yeah, they scroll. They scroll to bring the description visible. Only show the 3 dots if there is more to be seen. Yeah, probably. Show less is what we'll do. And also we need to translate these tokens. Cool. And so now if we do a background gradient on this, when you're on smaller screens, that more, yeah, so like when that more overlaps like this, we want it to hide what's behind it with a background color. So first of all, let's just give this background. And if we inherit the background, now I need to find the exact background class that the card element is using. This one. Color surface 800. We'll make it inline block so that I can have a background color. Yeah, so there we go. You can see that it's slightly covering it, but we want it to also, we want it to expand a bit. So let's give it some padding. Oh, you're right. This needs to be specifically dark mode. Well, I don't know. Let's see. Shield your eyes. I'm about to go into light mode in 3, 2, 1. We're still in light mode. Don't don't open your eyes just yet. Color surface 100. Okay, so we can actually do in, we can say when you're in dark mode, do that. Otherwise, background surface 100. All right. Yeah, like that. And then we also want to give it a little bit of padding. So that way it expands a bit more. Sure. And then we will also not, we'll put it all the way at the bottom. But then it gets rid of the outline, which is unfortunate. It's not the end of the world. Okay, but now instead of a solid color, we want it to be a gradient from transparent to that color. Bottom pixel 4? Is that valid? No. I need to figure out the width of this outline, because that's how or this border radius, border spacing, border width 0. So maybe it's an outline. What is that I'm looking at? Ring offset shadow. And then this inset 1 pixel plus ring offset width plus, so we want 1 pixel. We basically want 1 pixel. How can I do a 1 pixel border? Or not 1 pixel border, 1 pixel bottom? How do I do, do I use the dash? Like that? Yes. Yes, okay. We're almost there, everyone. And lastly, instead of doing this, we want a gradient. And so someone was telling me how to do the gradient. Background gradient 2? Oh, that's easy. Background gradient 2. Well, no, we want that for both light and dark mode. But then we want No, we want from R, and then we want to. And then how do I specify? I think I want from TR because that'll be from transparent. And how do I go to a to surface? $800. And then for light mode, we want to, no, this one. To surface 800 goes there. And then to surface 100 is light mode. And then it's coming from transparent. Maybe. Let's look at it. What's up, Ucha? Welcome in. All right. Tailwind gradient is. Did I do it wrong? I guess because we want from. Want from transparent? Background gradient. To R from transparent to surface color. Yeah, we are getting a flicker there. We can just always be bold, honestly. Yeah, always bold. Set the starting color of a gradient using the from color. Okay, so we're setting the starting color to be from transparent, like that. It's literally from transparent. That might be the issue. Okay. Okay, so from transparent. Set the ending color of our gradient using the to color. So from transparent to surface 800. Set the ending color. Oh no, we did that. You can add a middle color using via, which we don't want to do. I guess if we did the stop earlier on, we could make it transparent very early and do like a stop at 10%. Gradients fade out to transparent. Um, maybe I do. Yeah, I assumed that it would always be there, but maybe not, right? Maybe I have to add both. Oh, yeah. So now we have dark background gradient to linear gradient to the right from transparent to surface 800. It's going all right, Fob. I think we've got some stuff implemented today, which is fun. Um, but we're trying to get a gradient with Tailwind. Doesn't really seem to be doing what we want. We can't really dial it in because we're trying to go from transparent to the color of the background here so that it like overlays better. Linear gradient to right. Tailwind gradient stops are tailwind gradient from, tailwind gradient to. Tailwind gradient from is transparent. Tailwind gradient from position is not set. So we need to set that. The tailwind gradient from position needs to be set. No value is 0? Okay. I feel like to position needs to be the end or something like that. I mean, honestly, um, well, first of all, why is this not wrapping? What are we at? We're 200 characters long, and my formatter is not automatically um, wrapping this, which I don't like. I'm just gonna get rid of all these and try to debug it with copy paste. So let's grab this one and see if it does anything. That works. Okay, so um, let's work with what we have here. To say background gradient to the right from transparent. Oh, we're on the way. On the way. Why didn't it work? Oh, because I had background inherit. You're probably right. You're probably right. Okay. If we just let's put these back and see if it works now that I got rid of background inherit. Well, the thing is, when we were in the style debugger, it did look like um It looked like it was setting those last. Now it's not doing anything. All right, we're gonna debug it from here. So from transparent, from 10% via background surface 800. Do we not have access to background surface in the via? We don't. We only have access to the built-in tailwind colors. Okay, I think you're right. Via surface 800. Ooh, we've done it. I think we've done it. This is what we need. But this should only be in dark mode. And then surface 100 should be in not dark mode. All right. This is it. Okay, shield your eyes in 3, 2, 1. That works too. Okay. Yeah, now we can play around with the percentage. Because right now at 10%, you can see that it's it's starting off right there. Honestly, I mean, I kind of want to try like 5%, like 1%. Is 1% even an option? We have via surface 800. Tailwind is amazing. It took us a really long time to figure out, though. Okay. Where did our percentage go? Oh, we only have 10, 15, and 100. We don't have 1%. The more text not aligning with the description looks a little weird. Oh, yeah, we could put our own in. 2%. Is that even working? I can't even tell. Like, I think if I remove this, it still looks the same. So like our from. Okay, that's working. Are you sure about that, CFRO? Because we're doing. Like in their example, they have from indigo from 10%. So we're doing I think, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're totally right. I think we want via %, not, yeah, you're right. You're right. Because the start of the next color is what we're trying to set here. No, you can see, but now it's not quite though, because it's like there's like a it starts as the other color and then goes to that. Let's see real quick. If I do like 50%, what do we get? 10? Yeah, there's like a weird thing happening where like it starts and then stops. I still think we want from, like that looks the best, but I can't get it any smaller than that. Or 5%? That's really close. But the way I interpreted this was you have the start in our case is transparent, in their case is indigo, and then from 10% corresponds to the next value, like the via value. In our case, the via value is the surface. So from 5% would start the surface color at 5%. Can I do something like this? 1%? 2%? 20%? Okay, so that's affecting it. It just doesn't do as much when it's at 1%. Add a gradient to the before on the left side of the button. That probably could work, but I'm tired of messing with it, so we're gonna stick with this because it's good enough. It basically does what we want, like that. Yeah, we can increase. That's the other thing is if we increase the padding on the overall element, yeah, oh, that like stretches to the left. Basically, that'll basically do what we want without getting the um, without having to worry about the gradient. Though now there's like a weird stoppage in there. I'm good with that. That's it. That's it. Now conditionally render it if the description warrants it. Oh, okay. Also, we have to double check that it uh will work in light mode. So shield your eyes in 3, 2, 1. It works in light mode too. All right. Now conditionally render it if the description warrants it. No. Here's what we'll do. We'll make it really small, and so it always needs it. 18? That's not a thing. 16? Yeah, that's what we want. I guess a video that doesn't have a description, what would that do? Oh, like, oh, well, no, maybe we didn't find an example. Yeah, the only reason why I hesitate to say only show that button if there should be more is I don't know how to tell if there's more, because based on screen width and description length, like that's some calculations that need to happen. Change the color on hover. I'm not opposed to that. I feel like we tried doing that earlier though. Text primary. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like the only way to know if this should be there or not is to know what the actual height, the total height is, and we only know that if the element is actually expanded. So like I'd have to calculate that somehow. And I don't feel like doing that right now. And honestly, I think like we've done enough for today. I think I'm gonna call it here. Video without a description. It's true. There's probably not many videos without a description. You could, but the issue with word count is it varies based on width, right? Because then you have to use the width of the window along with the length of the text, and then you potentially need to account for like the size of the font, etc., etc. Yeah, that's the last thing we'll do for this specific feature is when I click show less, we want to scroll to the top of this description area. So we need to bind this to be the video description element. And then we'll have a place to store it. And we'll create a function toggle description, so that way we can scroll it into view here. So if description is visible, then that means it's going to be not visible, and so we can go ahead and set it. So description visible is not itself. So toggle it. And then if it is not visible, then we want to scroll this into view. Why is it complaining? Oh, we have a weird linter rule where we got to do something like this. What did I call this? Video description. Scroll into view. Schmoof. All right, and then now when that button is clicked, we'll call this function instead of just doing it in line. Okay. More? Less. Not bad. it did it. It feels a little bit awkward because it's like, maybe we want to scroll this into view because that's always going to be in view. An offset. Is there an offset option in the scroll into view? Block inline behavior. Block scroll logical position. Center end nearest start. Let's see. Oh, that's a lot. to because then you're scrolling the page itself and like trying to find its location on the page. I don't think I want to do that, is the thing. YouTube scrolls back to the title. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna scroll to, and not the title, more so the stuff below the video, like here. We'll scroll to here. Um, this. Um, and we're going to call this the video stats. And we don't need the video description anymore. We call it video stats. Easy. This I've been live for a little over 3 hours. Okay, we click more, we scroll down, we click show less. That's what I want to see. That's beautiful. Because it goes like just past where the description is. Cool. Yeah. If I wanted to, how could I monetize this web app? We've talked about it before, but we can limit the number of lists that users could make. Right? You could think of like what are all the premium features, right? So one thing could be a free account can only make 4 or 5 lists. And if you want to create 10 lists, then you got to pay a few bucks a month or something like that. That would be one way to do it. You could come up with other features too, like, I mean, you could. Well, the issue with scrolling to title is our title is at the top of the page, not below the video. So our title is up here, and I feel like that would be very jarring if you're here and you click show less and it goes all the way to the top of the page. We could put the title here too. But for now, I think it's good. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of things you could think about. Like, all right, what are you going to limit for like paying like users and like make them pay? If you're asking how would we monetize, we would try to tap into various payment APIs like the Stripe API and different things like that. Yeah, honestly, I like that idea too, Debon, is like the title is like sticky. So as you scroll, the title stays there. We'll think about that more later, though. I feel like we were about to do something. Yeah, I don't know. Let's look at our list. Um, we did some stuff today, people. We updated the homepage, fixed that scroll position. We've now got this on the video page. It's good stuff. This app is so complex now. Is it? I don't think it is. Is it? Maybe it is. Yeah. What's up, STMZY? Good to see you. I think I'm gonna call it there for today. I'm pretty happy with this. Next time, we'll find an icon library. I think I'm gonna do some research off stream to find a good icon library, so that way I don't have to spend time on stream looking for it. And what would be fun, and I think what I want to do next, is get timestamps in the descriptions working. So, oh, one thing we forgot though is anytime this changes, we need to re-hide the description. Let's fix that really quick. So on the video watch page, after navigate, scroll into view and then hide the description. Yeah, like that. So that way, like if I expand the description here and then I go click on some other video, it should hide the description. But I think what will be fun to do next time is to get these timestamps working. So if I click here, it'll navigate to that timestamp in the video. And in order to do that, we'll have to use the YouTube embed API, which will be interesting to look into. Yeah. Thanks, Mark Boots. So yeah, this was fun. I am going to just commit this all, push it to main, and we'll go from there. And we do this stream every Friday. So if this interests you, definitely tune in again. If you check out the schedule over on Coding Garden, I update this every week, so you'll be able to see the time I go live in your time zone. And we'll probably do another stream on Monday where we're reviewing the weekly challenge and weekly discussion topic that's in the Discord. So if you join the Discord, we have some stuff to keep you entertained and interacting whenever I'm not streaming. So you can check out the weekly challenge channel, the weekly discussion channel, and we'll talk about that stuff on Monday. I will possibly be doing some streaming on my personal channel this afternoon. Yeah. Hugo says, as an expert developer myself, for some reason I like to chill and look at you while I relax watching. Yeah, I think people have various reasons for watching, but I think for some, they do enjoy not having to do the work, to watch somebody else do the work. I will say some people have the opposite opinion of, and some people are like, I just got off of work. I've been coding for 8 hours today. Why would I want to go home and watch this guy code for a few more hours? But it varies. But I'll potentially be streaming over here on my my personal Twitch channel this weekend because there's a mural and street art festival that's happening in Denver, so I might be IRL streaming that and just like walking around seeing the artists paint murals and stuff like that. If you look at some of my past IRL streams, like some of the first IRL streams I did, like this one is just like walking around looking at like graffiti and street art and stuff like that. So this weekend there's an event where they're going to be making new ones, so we might be able to catch them in the act on the live stream, so that would be pretty fun too. So go check out that channel. Yeah, well, somebody already did it. Thank you, mods. And that's all I got for you. Have a great weekend. Thank you everyone for hanging out. I'll push this code up to GitHub, and if you want to look at it, it's github.com/codinggarden/listed. Let's go. Wait, not that, not yet. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this.